Project 95 Side Quests. Volume 2 of Side Quests. Now, you gotta see. This is what I'm running into, especially with Jam Boys and people hitting me up. What about this? What about that? What about this thing? Or that thing? And I, I get it. You have questions. Here's the thing, I'm answering the questions. Like, Romans asked me just a few minutes ago, you should talk about tapes. Like, I haven't gotten any tapes on tour yet. But in Side Quests Volume 2, I'm going to talk a little bit about tapes. But yeah, I get it. I appreciate the enthusiasm. And I'm there's things that happen as the tour goes on that everyone wants to know about now, and I don't want to jump ahead, basically. So I'm trying to give this, give it some a little bit of structure. Um, so I have I posted some pics. I hope you guys are catching those, the non-reels, the posts. So I found full uh, my full calendar, basically the fall tour itinerary. And if you guys, maybe you don't remember this, Fish used to have an exquisite newsletter called the Doniak Schweiss, and it was amazing. It was amazing. And I have every issue that they ever, well, not that they ever put out, but once I think I started subscribing in 94. And it's interesting to watch. It went from this like black and white paper, sort of like printout pamphlet thing, to like glossy, like super high production level newsletter. And they'd print tour dates, and they had Mike's Corner and Fish's Forum, and they had all this everything. They had dry goods stuff in there, order forms and mail order shit for tickets and all that kind of stuff. So that's the actual one that was in my glove compartment for basically the whole tour, because I couldn't check my phone. um, and then there's some pics that sort of reference the first Side Quests. Picture of me literally pulling up to Chicago before I immediately did a 180 and turned around and went the other way. There's a picture of the Golden Gate Bridge headed up to Seattle. There's a picture of Red Rocks from an empty Red Rocks, if you ever want to see that. And the pictures they're so bad. I'm going through all my old pictures from tour, and they're kind of sad. Like, there's very few pictures of me. People didn't give a fuck about pictures, which is so sad, because it's one of my great joys. One of my love languages is photographs, and I'm obsessed with pictures. I brought the camera. People thought I was a narc because I was taking pictures. Like, can you imagine that? Like, so I'm walking around the lot. This is in Seattle. Walking around the lot with a camera. And I'm like taking pictures of like drum circles and fucking, fish lot shit. And like multiple people asked if I was like a cop. And I'm like, no, I'm kind of trying to document this seminal sort of moment in my life. And everyone was like, what are you doing? Like, why do you have a camera? So I wish, oh my God, I wish the photography technology were better than it was. Then I had to get the film developed and everything. So that's why there's so few pictures. I don't even know if there's a picture. There's that picture of me on Spencer's couch that I posted. It's terrible. There's another one that I have of that. There's pictures of me like in a hotel, like taking a picture of myself in the mirror. Yeah, no fucking selfie sticks, bro. So that's that's been humbling, to say the least, as I'm going through this. I'm like, oh man, because current me is like, I there must be tons of pictures of this. I go back and I look through and I'm like, these are just so underwhelming. So SideQuest's Seattle. I've talked about, now I'm in base camp Seattle, and we kind of have, a center of operations. I'm meeting Spencer and Chris's friends, but we also picked up a couple other people. See, Spencer went out of his way to like recruit people to stay at his house. Yeah, we had this little um, um, content house, basically. Um, so at Spencer's, I was introduced to Kevin Cooney, who I'll have to find out. I don't know if I have a picture of him. He was a taper, and so to Roman's question, talk about tapes. I hadn't gotten any tapes yet. He had done. His kid was from Hawaii. He wasn't Hawaiian, but he was from Hawaii, and he was doing. I'm trying to remember how far into the tour he went with us. I want to say maybe Compton Terrace, Arizona, was his last show. But he wasn't just a taper. He was. What's this? That out there. Let me get something there too. He was taping on DAT tapes. So there was obviously the analog stuff that I have. But these were digital. He had a DAT recorder. I don't know what DAT stands for, and I should probably have looked that up before this video. But they're little tapes. They're digital. They're not analog. So the sound is obviously much better, but it's this very early digital recording equipment. So he had these DAT tapes, and he was taping. But you had to convert. You couldn't just buy a DAT player, if that makes any sense. So all the DATs had to be converted. Then you could dub them over to analogs, and so he started. I met him when I got to Spencer's. He's like, "Oh, this guy's staying here too," and Kevin was awesome. Like I'll show you these as the tour goes on. I have a stack of letters from him over the course of probably the following that tour and the following year, where he was writing me, sending me tapes, and we had a little tape exchange going. I'm gonna get into that too, the whole tape trading thing eventually on these SideQuest videos. The tape trading it's so funny. So I have printed out lists of tapes, of people's tape collections that they sent me. So I have Spencer's, I have Kevin Cooney's, I actually have McCabe's, and it's like just this. Here are the tapes I have, and their quality, like a grading system. Like a 1 is a perfect like soundboard, blah blah blah. 2 has some hiss in it. A 3 is too much, whatever. And just the back and forth between tapers, just trying to get tapes. So Cooney, when he started touring with us, that stretch from basically Seattle down to Arizona, which was a nice little chunk. He was taping, and we were getting those tapes pretty quickly. Even, I remember, I'm not going to tell the story. I'll save this for another side quest. But so basically, he would tape the shows, and we'd come back to Spencer's house and dub them. Dub is a very 90s term. Dub them over to analog so that we could listen to them. So that's how I got all those California shows. But I just started getting them. So yeah, that was a huge thing. Having a taper with us was awesome. And these are good. These are better, I would say better than the stuff that's on re-listen, the ones that I have. And I don't know what I lost some tapes, I think. Because I mentioned Shoreline Set 2, like how I listened that tape into oblivion, but I can't find it. Like I must have, tapes. What can you do? So that's a little taste of the tape thing. But side quest wise, right? I remember we went to see the movie Clockers, which was such an interesting choice. I guess I should probably. It was about life on the streets. This was the 90s, so there was a cottage industry of like life on the streets movies. If you think about like Juice and New Jack City and Boys in the Hood, what else? This Clockers was in that vein. Who was in it? Michael Ty? No, Mekhi Phifer. I'll have to look that up on IMDb. I think it was Mekhi Phifer was like the lead in it. So we went to see Clockers. I remember that specifically. A big thing during my time in Seattle, it was kind of that was pretty cool, was you saw the headline from the OJ paper. The Mariners won the West, and this will not interest anybody in the Jam Boys probably, because they don't give a fuck about baseball, but I do. It's up there with fish on my passions, on my weird obsessions list. There was, the Mariners had just won the West, so they were playing the Yankees. Now, I've been a Yankees fan since I could breathe. I used to listen to Yankee games on the radio as a kid, because shit wasn't on TV every fucking night. And so now the Mariners were playing the Yankees, and this was Don Mattingly's final season. This was the first year of the wild card. The Yankees were the first wild card team. And so that series took place during the exact week that I was in Seattle. So the Seattle guys were all up my ass about fuck the Yankees, and we got Griffey, they were all high on and talking shit to me about the Mariners, and this was the Mariners had big unit, Edgar, A-Rod. I don't know if A-Rod was playing, but A-Rod was up. He was on the squad. Jay Buhner hit like 500 in that series. Fucking Griffey. And I just remember us going back and forth, and the Yankees won the first two games. And then in New York. They won the first 2 games. There's that epic Mattingly home run at Yankee Stadium, which is, a lot of people don't know, was directly following an almost as big home run by Big Ruben Sierra. Anyway, it came down to his final game at the Kingdome in Seattle, and the Yankees lost on a fucking bullshit play because Gerald Williams was playing fucking 200 feet off the line. It's a whole thing. But just that was all going on. So we were kind of, I remember we tried to go to game 3, I think. I'd have to look that up. But I mean, the game was sold out. Like, we couldn't get in. I didn't have a ton of money. But I just remember that whole sort of that was going on. So we were watching games at Spencer's house. We were watching the games. And then the last game, the game that the Yankees lost and broke my heart because it was Donnie Baseball's last game, that was October 8th. So we were in Montana. And I don't even know, how would I even find out if the Yankees won or lost. I don't even remember, like, how I found out. I don't think I found out, like, oh, somebody told, hey, the Yankees lost. I don't think I found out that day. Just saying, like, the tour sort of, that moment sort of was swept away as we moved back eastward. But that was a big part of my week in Base Camp Seattle. And probably the biggest thing was they took me to a little mom and pop coffee place called Starbucks. Ever heard of it? I think it's one of the coolest things about the tour is that I went to Starbucks like in its infancy, like before anybody could have even fathomed the fact that there would be a Starbucks on every corner in America, in the world. I was sitting in one being like, oh, this is kind of cool. Nobody ever thought, like, coffee. Like, who gave a fuck about coffee? No one. Now it's people's entire personality is coffee. We went to Starbucks. And they were like, oh, yeah, it's this cool, like, coffee place. You get coffee. And I was like, coffee? Who even drinks coffee? Right? Like, third shift line workers, right? Just to take the edge off of their fucking cigarettes, right? No? That's who drinks coffee. No, it was actually, again, people sort of roll their eyes at me when I'm like, I was at like Starbucks before it was Starbucks. And I remember I used to get an iced coffee with honey. And I'm like, damn, like, when the last time I had one was like 30 years ago, literally, because I don't think there were no other Starbucks. It wasn't like when we got to Arizona, there were Starbucks. They were just in Seattle. I don't even know how many there were in Seattle. There might have been 2 at the time. So that was just one of those kind of cool things to look back on. It's, once Starbucks sort of took over the world, I was like, oh yeah, that's where we went that time. We went a bunch of times. The honey in the coffee thing, I'm like, yeah, I should make one of those myself right now. So that was huge. We had another kid staying with us. His name was Brandon. I got some letters from him. So looking back, I'm kind of, I didn't remember. I have stacks. I have several letters from Cooney and several letters from Spencer, that went probably within a year of that time. So that was, that was pretty cool. So this is, there's some side quests in there. This has been Side Quest Volume 2 of Project 95. Plenty more where this came from. So I'll see you guys. Next day off is, what's today? Today's the 4th, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 2 days off between Montana and Arizona. Thank God. I think those are that will be the next side quest video. So a lot's gonna happen between now and then. So stay with me, guys. It's been a lot of fun so far, but I'm hoping it grows to the end, to New Year's Eve, and not we just start losing people start falling off. I hope it gains momentum and viewers and things like that. So bye.